Hi, I'm Tina Johnson here with Keller Williams Market Pro Realty, and this is Caitlin Moses. She's also with Keller Williams. We are team leaders and assistant team leaders here. We coach a lot of agents in our market center and outside our market center. And today we're going to talk about how AI can change your business.
Yeah.
What's some ways that we can help our agents integrate into AI in different levels? So What are your thoughts on AI?
I think it's interesting because AI, it's not new at all, but it feels so new. I think it's new in the main sphere of like what people are talking about right now. So it's really interesting because we've been talking to a lot of our agents about who's actually using it. And I would say probably only 20 to 25% are even using it at the base level right now. So, we've just been talking to people about how they're using it for their business and their personal life. And it's been really interesting to get kind of like a good read on how people are using it. So I think at the very base level, what I'm seeing the most is people using it for marketing.
So do you see any resistance from agents integrating AI into their business?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think it's fear. With all new technology comes an element of being afraid.
Right.
And I joke all the time with you, I'm a millennial. I'm kind of like that perfect age where I grew up with technology, but I also ran around outside when I was a kid and drank out of water hoses. And, my kid is living a very different childhood than I lived as far as she is kind of an iPad kid. So it's different. And I think, there's always going to be people who adopt technology early on and embrace it and people who are hesitant. And even though I love technology and I'm comfortable with it, we've talked a lot. I'm sometimes hesitant, not about the technology itself, but humans implementing it and what that looks like in their business. So this has been a great exercise for me, trying to figure out how people are using it and in removing maybe some of the prejudices I have against artificial intelligence. I've probably read one too many dystopian novels to just like go all in on it.
I think we can use technology in good and bad ways no matter what it is.
Yeah.
So we just got to learn to use it in a way that can really move us forward in our business, right, and our personal lives. So we use it all different ways. So I'm older than you, of course. So I remember when cell phones came out. I remember when, the internet came out. So both those things, I heard the same things and I felt the same things. Like, why would anybody want to get a hold of me anytime they can? Why would I need a cell phone, So to come that far in such a short time, we have to embrace it. It's going to be here whether we like it or not. And I think our agents need to learn how to use it in different levels. Some of them will only dabble in it.
Yeah.
And some will take it to a whole new level and really see their business change over just a short period of time. That's my predictions.
Yeah.
So anyway, we just want to introduce it to our agents, right? And what's some ways they can use it in their business?
Well, I think I like what you said about dabbling in it because that's where I want to say 90% of agents are right now. And the number one I see them using it is marketing. Agents, not all agents, but a lot of agents aren't the most creative type. They don't want to be thinking about like how to describe a house. What should I put in the listing description? Or, how do I need to make this caption for my social media? That's overwhelming to them. They get super decision fatigue, analysis paralysis.
We see that a lot, yes.
All the time. And so I think the agents who are using it now, like just getting into it, are asking, ChatGPT is a great resource. Like, what is a good caption? What's trending? What marketing should I be doing to sell homes in Northwest Arkansas, what I need to look for in my market, but really just using it as a tool to help get their creative juices flowing.
So it's not to replace what we do, it's just to enhance what we do, right? In less time.
Yeah.
Really, we're talking about saving time. So time's valuable. They're not making any more of it. It's the most valuable thing an agent will ever have is time.
Yeah.
So if we can help them increase their business with the same amount or less time and less decision making in their part, it'll be easier for them to grow their business in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
So I've read a lot and listened to a lot of videos on AI. So and they talk about having it for an assistant, like training it like your assistant.
Yeah.
So I think that's the number one thing when I see top agents, when they're trying to get to the next level, they're hesitant to hire an assistant.
Yeah.
That's probably the one roadblock that they have that I see that's detrimental to growing their business. So how could they integrate AI in that way? And maybe they wouldn't have to hire somebody as quickly.
Well, it's interesting that you asked that because I showed you that video on Instagram the other day. So there's the very top level, which I'll get to in a second, and then the very base level. Base level, I think, Ken Pozak of the Pozak Group in Orlando talked about how he's using an AI chatbot in Instagram to kind of answer leads immediately. We all know it's speed to lead. The lead goes cold in like a minute if you don't answer it. So you have a 90% better conversion rate if you answer them within the first 5 minutes. That's no way to live a life. Waiting to like for your phone to ring, to text people, to answer your Instagram. And
we've all been there, like, just a minute, I got to answer this. Because if I don't,
Yeah.
it might be business that I'm missing out on.
and you're in the middle of like important stuff with your family and you're stuck to your phone because a lead might come in. So I think that's going to be the number one biggest difference that people can do is using it in ways like that to just talk to a lead. And you can have those chat bots on your Instagram account, in your email to auto respond. And then we saw an agent in Dubai is using voice AI because you can train AI to sound like you and to call for you. And this is where I get weird. My dystopian novels start coming back to me and I'm like, but it's okay. I'm fine. It's cool. So it can sound like you and call for you and set an appointment. So she had it. It was like, it sounded just like her. It said ums and to make it sound more like a human. I don't think the person on the other side of the line even realized that it was AI. And they were filming her reaction and she was even shocked, like, oh my God, it sounds exactly like me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, up to that level. So I really think it's just finding the level that you're comfortable with and starting there, whether it's using it to schedule posts. We talked about Centra with the ALC. There's a new AI, like you can hire AI assistants for all different areas. So either doing it that way to manage your email, manage your text messages, manage your DMs. But I think that's going to be where they start first.
We were even talking to one agent and, they were using it as their therapist. Laughingly, they said that. But, I mean, all kinds of ways you can interact with AI and use it on all kinds of different levels.
Yeah.
I was just talking to an agent and I asked her personally, how do you use it in your life? And she does meal planning and then grocery shopping.
Yeah.
So she said she uses it all the time for that. And I thought that's a great way to streamline your life and cut out some time you get back, right?
Yeah.
That you can spend with your family or in business if you need to.
I think we talk a lot about leads, listings, and leverage. Those are the 3 L's for real estate. And there's a way to use AI in each of those. We just talked about using it to respond quicker to leads, doing listing descriptions and finding out people are using it for market analysis so they can find out how to better price a listing.
Right.
And the leverage, I think, is huge because so many agents don't have time. So, we posted in our internal Facebook group, what are ways that you're using it? And we saw that one agent used it to create a gift basket.
Yeah.
She said, hey, I need to do it for an 11-year-old girl. Here's my budget. Here's some things that she likes. Can you put together a gift basket and put the links in there? And that is a way I would have never thought to use it.
Right. And I think that's the point is let's think of ways outside the box to use it to really help us gain time back and not have to think on those things that we don't want to think about, and some people aren't creative and that's okay, so AI definitely there's a learning curve there too. So it's not just ask it and I think over time it learns about you and who you are and how you talk and how you say things. So it can, but if you don't use it, it's never going to learn how you do things and help you at a high level. So I think really our push is to help our agents just use it one thing. I told them one thing this week, use it AI for one thing.
Yeah.
And since we've been talking about it, I've really thought, a lot of different ways you can use this. So it really gets your brain thinking, how can I use AI?
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see more and more like outside the box ways of using AI to help us in our business and our life.
And I think the best people who are using it like to the highest, efficiency know how to use it. This is actually one of the questions I asked ChatGPT because I knew we were going to do this today. What's something that you wish everyone knew about ChatGPT? That was the question I asked it. And the number one thing it said was AI as a tool, not a replacement. Right. That goes back to the fear that people have that it's going to, I think people's knee-jerk reaction is that it's going to replace them. But you can't replace the human component.
No, never.
It's really, it's just like we use our phones. Eventually it'll just be second nature. But, one of the things that I thought was really interesting is quality of input affects quality of output.
Right.
So it's all about how you ask the questions. I think a lot of people default to using it as a search engine, but it's not a search engine. It's not Google.
Right.
So learning how to ask a question is going to be pivotal to using it.
And digging, it's not just one question. It's like, okay, expand on that. And it just keep on asking it, come from curiosity and just keep asking questions until you get it to where you want it to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. So also saw where people were using it to practice their conversations, right?
Yeah.
And so what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that is great because a lot of our first conversations we're having with clients happen over the computer anyway. You're not going to get that same like practicing with a partner. But it's really great because you can fine tune those skills and just know that when you go into that appointment, you go in prepared and ready to talk to people about the objections they might have.
Right. And I think agents, they have a fear about having conversations and handling objections with other people.
Yeah.
So I think with AI, they'll be more likely to use it.
Yeah.
And, because every time we say, let's do some practice conversations, everybody's like scrambles. It's like, where'd everybody go? So I think this is going to be a good way for them to even do it at home or whatever, but just handle objections. And you can tell it at what level you want them to resist and really get your conversations and what you need to say and handling objections fine-tuned, right? Get more business. Yeah. So where do you see AI going in the future?
I don't know. And I think if you had asked me, technology moves so quickly now. If you had told me 20 years ago that ChatGPT would be a thing and self-driving cars would be on the road and deep fake videos would be out there, I don't think I could have it kind of feels like we're living in a sci-fi novel. And we talked about this. If you look at human history from the beginning of time to the invention of the light bulb, it's like, this much. And if you look at the invention of the light bulb to where we are now, I mean, technology is moving so quickly. I think it's hard. Dane and I always joke that when Ariana is our age, she'll have like screens in front of her face and won't even talk to people anymore. We'll be living in like virtual reality.
I don't think that'll ever happen. I think we need human contact.
Yeah.
That's just who we are and how we operate and what we need as humans.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it's one of those things that's so quickly moving.
It is very quickly.
You just have to stay on top of it. But I hope it leads to a better life for everybody. More time for the important things and less time doing the grind. Like if I'm envisioning a perfect future scenario, it's that AI has empowered people to do more meaningful things.
So I was listening to information on this before we came on, and they were talking about how they can take a long form video and use all that information and cut it into like 19 videos and say these are the best videos, and so it can really speed up your capability to do a lot of different things quickly. And I think that's important for agents to grasp that, get a hold of it, and at least start using it at some capacity in their business. Whether it's just asking a question every day and just think about how can I use it to really increase my business and make my life better. Because we talk about a life by design, right? So this can be a vital part of life by design, giving you freeing up your time to do what you love to do.
And I think it's huge on just the amount of information you have at your fingertips now. AI aside with Google, there's no limits of what you could do with the technology that's available to the average human. Mm-hmm. And I think I loved what you said about the internet when it came out and how it affected real estate. Can you share that story?
Yeah. So, it was probably 2005, 6-ish when it was really starting to roll. Everybody was dabbling in it, just like this. Everybody knew about it, but some people just really took it to the next level and started there, and they were top agents for years and years because they embraced it, learned it, and implemented it in their business, and it changed their lives. And I really feel the same about this.
Yeah.
And that's why we're so passionate about our agents getting a hold of it, learning it, using it, and helping them build their business.
And I think it can provide a lot of clarity. I've seen people online using it like, hey, if in 5 years, here's where I want to be, here's where I'm at today, what do I need to do between now and then to get there? Mm-hmm. And they're using ChatGPT to create these really, real business plans and life plans and goals to get themselves to the next level. So I think even if you're just going to use it for that, if you use it, like you shared earlier, that ChatGPT kind of has a higher IQ than the average human. Mm-hmm. And so people are using it just to bounce ideas off of.
Like a business consultant.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's brilliant. And it makes you, it really helps you think differently.
Yeah.
Gives you ideas of maybe I wouldn't have thought of doing it that way.
Yeah.
So I definitely think we have to embrace it and start using it.
I agree.
It's a great tool, and we just really want our agents to really learn about it and start using it. And I think we're going to be doing some trainings on this to help them implement into their business.
If you were starting today with AI, like if you hadn't messed with it at all, if you had never gone to the ChatGPT website, if you hadn't used it in any capacity, where would you start, do you think?
I would start by just asking it questions every day.
Yeah.
Like we were going to come on here, I was asking it questions as well. Write me an outline for doing a podcast on AI. So just start with any question that you've got that you need help with. Writing documents. Two people said that they use it for writing letters. I love a couple of people have said they use it in their when they're trying to respond in a text, and they don't want to be mean, but they want to get their point across, but they want to make sure they're communicating in the highest level they can. So they'll put it in ChatGPT and say, hey, can you soften this up and make it sound like I'm not mad or you pushy or whatever, So I thought, well, that's great. They're using it to really change how they communicate with people.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Isn't
and
that crazy?
Emails, all the things they can use it for.
I really feel sometimes like when we're talking about things like this, I'm like, oh my gosh, we're living in the future. Yeah. This is all so interesting that I would have never guessed 20 years ago that this would be the future. But you're right. If people don't learn how to use it now, they'll get left behind.
Yeah. They're going to learn how it's either now or later.
Yeah.
They're going to get left behind if it's later.
I used it to ask what's the best way to ask ChatGPT a question, which I thought was really useful because if you just ask it a basic question, it's not going to give you the results that you want. And so you're like, everybody's using this AI, but it's not really working for me. And so it kind of broke down the best way to use it. So even if you don't know how to use it, you should go ask it
learn
the best way to use it.
Exactly.
And it'll learn.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It is.
So you talked about business plans. So we meet with lots of agents with our brokerage, outside of our brokerage. And I would venture to guess probably 99% do not have a business plan. When you say, where should I start? That's where, if you want to integrate it in your business, start with asking it to make me a business plan.
Yeah.
Tell them what your goals are. 5 years, maybe work backwards, whatever.
Yeah.
Or even this year. It doesn't matter. Just do something and have a plan. And I think that's where most agents
I think
miss out.
clarity is power, and if you can use this tool to get clarity in your business, then I mean, you're unstoppable.
Yeah, that's exactly the word I was going to use. All right. Well, it's been great talking about AI. I love it. And I can't wait to help our agents learn more about it and help grow their business.
Yeah, me too. That's awesome.